Exeter City Football Club, better known for publicity stunts than success on the pitch. A season that began with Michael Jackson's bizarre visit ends with directors John Russell and Mike Lewis arrested over fraud allegations. Exeter are relegated from Division 3. The club is millions of pounds in debt and facing relative obscurity outside the Football League. It's the biggest crisis in City's 99-year history.
So with a sense of resignation, the final whistle blows at St James Park. It confirms Exeter City's fate. They will be celebrating their centenary, playing in the Nationwide Conference next season. With mounting debts, just how long can this club survive? Will it even make it to the first match in non-league football?
Time is running out fast for Exeter City. After 99 years, it could all be over within days.
Hello, Exeter City.
Outwardly, at least, it's business as usual at St James's Park.
Of course, yes, if you go into the Doble stand, which is the main stand.
Office volunteer Andy Gillard tries to sound optimistic as he takes calls from worried supporters.
And we'll take your money very kindly.
It's a very different story behind the scenes. With owner Ivor Doble taking a back seat, the supporters' trust are trying to snatch the financial equivalent of a stoppage-time equaliser.
I don't mean to appear rude, but it's just not possible right now.
There's just a lady, Alex Williams. I'll tell you what, I'll ring one if you ring the other.
No, I'll do them both, no, because then it'll go in one.
Bills and players' wages have to be paid within days. Volunteers Ian Huxon, Julian Tagg and Terry Pavey have asked businesses in the city to give £1,000 each to keep the club afloat.
Just let them know that the reason for that, there are a significant number of companies who don't perhaps have the authority on local level to write a cheque for £1,000, and I think we've probably got upwards of a dozen, maybe a dozen and a half firms locally who want to support but are waiting for authority. So we're going to extend that deadline for a couple of weeks. I have to be perfectly honest with you, as a fan, I'm up and I'm down. Sometimes you have some wonderful news and you get some great encouragement from the supporters. Other times the task just looks too big. I really don't know. It's on a knife edge, but that's what we're working towards. OK, guys, just tune in.
Although the club's future is in serious doubt, one of the first jobs is to appoint former youth team boss Eamon Dolan as first-team manager. He's a man used to working with very few resources.
The wing-backs.
Years of underspending have left parts of St James's Park in a dreadful state. Once again, the fans come to the rescue and a team of volunteers steps in.
There's no money around it at all. Absolutely correct. It's been fantastic, the amount of people that have actually come and helped us. Volunteers, businesses who have supplied us with materials. It's just absolutely overwhelming, to be perfectly honest with you.
It's a summer full of frantic fundraising. Local businesses rally round, and Tottenham legend Steve Perriman is one of the special guests for a gala dinner organised by celebrity chef Michael Caines. And Perriman is keen to help more.
No one knows the depth of the problem until you're actually in it. And I suppose that's going to unfold day by day, week by week. Of course, I've got responsibilities up in London and a family living there. But I just felt I could donate a couple of days of my time to give to the club in their perilous position to try and help their improvement.
With Perriman on board, along with legal and financial experts Stephen Allenson and Jerry O'Sullivan, the club's prospects are beginning to look much brighter.
The important thing is to let people know that our confidence in the financial position continues to increase daily. Having appointed Eamon Dolan and Steve Perriman, that's provided the club with a strong management team with the help of the professional advisors that we've got with us here today, and we remain confident that the successful outcome is likely to be achieved.
Alright, how you doing?
It's that time of year when the extra pounds have to be shed and morale lifted after last season's nightmare.
Yeah, a lot heavier than that.
For some of the youth team, it's the same old routine. But for the senior pros like Scott Hiley, Barry McConnell and striker Steve Flack, there's a new mood of optimism.
Tell you what, have you been in England at all?
Hi Sean, how are you doing? Good to see you. How are you, mate? Yeah, not bad, you? Yeah, not too bad at all. Good. Not too bad at all.
While the routine jobs are taken care of, there's a pre-season boost for the man with the suntan. Former Manchester City, Portsmouth and Southampton star Scott Hiley is all set to sign a contract as the club's new assistant manager. But despite the promotion, there's a cut in wages.
Scotty, you come, mate. There you go. Scotty, got your contract here, mate. Great to have you on board. You know, really pleased with that. I'm really glad we're able to come to after painful negotiations. You know, took a while. Yeah, absolutely. No, that's brilliant. The catch to it is that once you sign it, it also hands over your bank account to the club as well. Because of that, you're more than welcome to that. There's a bit of tracing paper on a little bit of contract. Right, where does he sign, Sam?
So you sign that, take that.
Yeah. No problem. That's right. Lovely. Yeah. It's easy doing contract negotiations when there's no negotiation, you've got no money. That's the upside of it. You've got to look on the positive. Yeah, hey?
Hi everybody, welcome back. You have to forgive me.
Before training can start, there's an important message from Supporters Trust Chairman Ian Huxham. He's keen to put the players' minds at rest about the future.
I can't pretend that things haven't been difficult and things might actually get worse before they get better, but that's only how it appears, because I think based on what happened last season in particular, you know, we were all allowed to go on and think everything was fine, but there was obviously behind the scenes some major things that weren't right, and I can assure you from a supporter's point of view, we'll be right behind you. If you can put it in at your end, we'll be giving you all the support we possibly can, and let's just hope that we're looking forward to a much more successful season this season. And I thank you very much. Cheers.
You've all done a test before.
Nothing too suicidal this morning, guys. Just going to ease you into it, have a bit of fun, okay, a bit of banter. Aim is just to do a little warm-up, okay, just before you have a go at the bleep test.
Level 1 starts with a triple bleep.
Wait a minute. Off you go, nice and gently. You should all get to level 16, by the way, guys. I forgot to mention that earlier.
The bleep test is the worst part of pre-season training, but the perfect way to assess fitness levels. Have the players kept to the summer workouts and watch the calories.
Think about your breathing, fellas. Nice deep breaths. Don't stop breathing yet. And the turns, guys. Remember the turns.
It soon becomes clear that some players are lagging behind. 17-year-old reserve keeper Martin Rice is one of the offenders.
Right, it makes a big difference. 9-7. You got one more chance to catch up, Ricey. Last one.
Ricey, don't be dropping out at 10, Ricey. Please. 10-4. Well done, son. Keep going. Just mental
Ricey,
now.
Stay with him, boys. Stay with him.
10-9. Come on, son. Hey, don't.
Your last chance, Ricey. Come on, mate. Stay with it. Right, Tim, pull him out, mate. Well done. Well done, Ricey.
But it's a performance that doesn't impress the manager.
Not enough, mate. We've only got one goalkeeper at the moment, so there was an opportunity, but not at that level.
Great stuff.
Time is also running out for physio Damien Davey. The club can't afford to pay his wages, and while he's treating midfielder Martin Thomas, there's already talk of possible cheaper replacements.
Lorraine, she's like a bit of a masseur, and she's possibly willing to
Not the physio?
Not the physio, no.
So is this potentially your last day at the club?
I'm extremely upset about it, and I would like to continue to work for Exeter City Football Club, and I've enjoyed working with the players, and I've made some good friends here. But unfortunately, that does seem to be the way, yes.
But while another dark cloud hangs over the club, it's not all doom and gloom. With Steve Perriman making his presence felt on the training ground, there's also a massive boost for the club's finances. Although commercial manager Annie Bassett knows that her time at the club is also running out, she's about to finalise a major deal. The former Businesswoman of the Year was the role model for the 1980 football series The Manageress, and just like the character played by Cherry Lungi, she's keen to leave her mark.
I'm off to our new shirt sponsor, Flybe, to see the General Manager of Marketing, Simon Lilly, to finally sign our heads of agreement for them to be the sponsor over the next season. But this has been a difficult one, and everything was held up for about 5 weeks in the summer as well, because of the unfortunate circumstances with previous directors.
In this sort of perilous situation, can the club afford a high-profile commercial manager like yourself?
No, straight answer to that is no, they can't, and we've talked about it. And it's unlikely that I will stay. At this stage of my career, I can't afford to do more work for less money, which is what's required.
And just weeks after landing the club's shirt sponsorship deal, Annie Bassett takes her place in the departure lounge.
It's a great year.
Yes. Hello, Mum.
Good boy.
The first to get his hands on the new look kit is young Sonny Devine, son of Exeter's injured striker Sean Devine.
That's it.
After the break, former England striker Teddy Sheringham gives Exeter a pre-season boost. And bringing home the bacon, the not so glamorous life for City striker Steve Flack and his family. Harry Redknapp's Portsmouth are the main pre-season attraction at St James's Park, and there's a chance to rekindle old friendships. With Teddy Sheringham one of the Premiership side's new signings, there's a much-needed bumper crowd. The former England star earns more in 1 week than most Exeter players do in a whole year. Although he's coming towards the end of his illustrious career, he doesn't disappoint the watching thousands. Exeter may have lost, but it was a night when off-field problems could be forgotten. There was an added boost from Sheringham himself.
They look very solid, very organised between the back four and the midfield, which is great, and they had a few chances of getting forward as well at times. But you know, you're playing against Premiership players now, and there's a big difference. But no, I'm sure they'll bounce back up.
With a slim squad, it's vital that young players like striker Sean Cannon build up their strength. Even the senior pros like Kwame Ampadu and former Newcastle trainee James Coppinger find the going tough at this time of the year. As the players' spokesman and union representative, Steve Flack often has weighty matters on his mind. He made the headlines himself in 2002 when he staged a unique demonstration after the team hadn't been paid.
Well, this is Steve Flack, tries an intelligent little flick, and it's a beauty! Cap in hand as well, Steve Flack there.
With a young family to support, it's easy to see why former boxer Flack pulls no punches.
Are you alright?
Far from the glamorous image of a pro footballer, he has to combine training, playing and union duties with all the usual household chores. Wife Jane is used to being a footballer's wife, and it's nothing like the TV series.
Are people surprised sometimes that there are occasions, particularly with Exeter City over the years, that you may have struggled to make ends meet because of...
Yeah, they think that, you know, because he plays professional football, that he's absolutely, you know, that we're absolutely loaded. But it's not the case. You know, he's earning good money for what he does. But you know, he's not David Beckham. He's not playing in the Premiership. You know, he's not even in Division 1. And so, you know, some people come around here and they're like, oh, you know, bit surprised really in a way that we haven't got the massive house. But we live to our means. Yeah.
Often I've come through that door and gone, bloody club. I said, now they ain't going to only pay us 75%. And she said, well, why don't you just leave? Why don't you just leave? And but like I say, after the initial sort of words that you have, then you sort of sit down and have a conversation. You sort of, you know, we like it here, we're settled here, and you know, people just sort of, you know, put up with it while they can. But there's going to be a stage where, however much you like the football club, if you're not getting paid, there's, you know, your family has to come first.
There's your ankle.
All right, a little bit sore, but hopefully we've got a game Saturday, and then rest Sunday, and then perhaps I should be all right Monday as well against Tiverton away. So
Alright.
just wait and see.
That's alright, isn't it? Super.
Just turn your body back that one, Steve. No, the other way. That's it. Brilliant, well done.
Get on. You go box. Get on.
Tom, socks up, mate. Hey, Eddie, socks up, mate. It's a team photo.
Okay, then here we go. Thank you very much. And next.
That was, by the way, like Japanese fighter pilot.
Thank you very much.
Let you go stand there and have your individuals to.
4 weeks ago, they were all down. They were flat. They were very let down, very disappointed by the legacy of last season. And amazingly, within 4 weeks, you know, we're not exactly where we want to be at the moment, but we're getting close to it. Yeah, we look more like a professional club. Lovely, that's a lot better. We look like half a football club now. Lovely. What are we doing, hands on the knees?
Right, Sally, run! Right, everyone look at this way, brilliant, lovely! Lovely, that's it guys!
As dawn breaks on the season, there's a renewed sense of optimism around St James's Park.
Right, just unhitch it from here. Can you give me a bit of slack? Lovely.
Groundsman Martin Vaughan and Dave Richards are busy making the final preparations for the opening match against Halifax. They're Exeter's version of the Little and Large show.
Right, it's okay.
There's a lot of people falling off of that.
Right. How's that look?
Stumpy's done a good job. Pitch looks good.
Worked very hard.
Yeah, and Dave.
It's just great working with these guys as well. You know?
It's a day that many thought they'd never see. Reward for a summer battling against the odds.
We've had as well. I mean, I never thought we'd get this far. So much done in such a short space of time, really. And it's quite an achievement. There's such a goodwill out there. It's absolutely amazing. I mean, I come 3 o'clock this afternoon and I think, I'll be choked right up. I'm sure I will.
I'm pleased for what we've done without any money. We haven't spent very much on the pitch at all. It's all been done by me and Dave, manual work, trying to bring the grass together by forks, which has taken 2 to 3 weeks to get it to this stage.
There's something very reassuring about familiar pre-match routines. But while the shirts are hung up, manager Eamon Dolan is still thinking about his strongest side and first competitive team talk.
I think it's pointless giving players too much information. Players don't respond to that, you know, but they need key points and key messages, and I suppose that's the job of a manager, to decipher all the information and then be able to give key points to the players, actually trigger that player to be successful against his opponent.
It's a busy time for catering staff. Hundreds of meals need to be prepared for sponsors and special guests. Striker Sean Devine's wife Kelly is expecting the couple's second child, but still lends a hand in the kitchen.
Kelly, is Sean coming up today?
Yeah, he'll be around about 1 o'clock to give a hand in the kitchen.
Yeah, good mark. Nice day for it. All right.
Among the first players to arrive are new goalkeeper James Bittner and French defender Alex Janine, both key members of Exeter's wafer-thin squad.
Half-time draw tickets, £2 for a cash prize.
Everyone's optimistic at this time of year, but with resources stretched to the limit, Steve Perriman's dressing room encouragement and advice will be vital. With just minutes to go until kick-off, there's a nerve-wracking wait for players and match officials. So after spending the summer on football's life support machine, it was time for the players to take centre stage. A chance to write headlines for all the right reasons at last.
Fantastic, yeah. A long build-up. You're glad you got to this point. The sun's out, day one. It's a miracle we're still here. The boys have been tremendous pre-season. Let's hope we continue today.
The centenary season kicks off against Halifax. For the new directors, a fantastic feeling of achievement.
Well, I'm delighted actually, never mind apart from the nerves. I've never been this nervous in my life. I was like a kid on Christmas Eve last night, you know.
It doesn't take Exeter long to score their very first non-league goal. Steve Flack showing why all the off-field frustrations are worthwhile. Exeter have several chances to add to their early lead, but somehow the ball stays out of the Halifax net. As the minutes tick by, the manager, players and fans become anxious, and the inevitable happens. Exeter have to settle for a 1-1 draw and a solitary point. Reality is hitting home. Bouncing back to Division 3 won't be easy.
It was a more than reasonable start for us against an organised, efficient, good conference side. We try and be as professional as we can. We try and gain any advantage that we can. And I thought that was reflected in today because it was positive.
Tomorrow night, more positivity from the psychic supporter.
You know where this will bend?
Uri Geller hits back at the critics. Will club owner Ivor Doble wave goodbye to his shares? And on the road to Accrington, City fans have plenty to cheer about. Exeter City have come within days of going out of business. Millions of pounds in debt. Volunteers from the Supporters Trust give the club a lifeline. Photo call smiles can't mask the scale of the crisis. Plenty of hard work lies ahead as Exeter head into their centenary season in the nationwide conference. Wins against Margate and eventual champions Chester have propelled Exeter into the top half of the table. But the club's survival is still in serious doubt, and the new regime is keen not to look back. That means there's no official role for celebrity fan Uri Geller and his son Daniel. Despite that, the Gellers are off to Exeter's match at Woking.
Big game for Exeter City today, Daniel, isn't it?
It's a very big game, yeah. Today we're playing Woking, of course. We've made an okay start to the season. And, yeah, we've made quite a good start. So today we've got to win, we've got to continue.
And no doubting your love of Exeter City, looking around your bedroom here.
Well, yeah, that's right. Lots of memories, all these articles, cutouts. It's great.
Do you still get the same excitement when you get in the car to go to a game?
I do, yeah, absolutely. Since my very first game, the pre-season friendly against Chelsea in 1996, that was a mammoth occasion for me, and yeah, I still do get that buzz. I get very nervous, excited. You just pray for a win every time.
Many fans have questioned the Gellers' motivation, but Uri insists he's always had the club's best interests at heart.
About 2 miles on the
I'm still a huge supporter and a fan. And to me, it doesn't really matter whether I'm involved directly with the club or not. I still love the club, and that's why we're going to the matches.
Exit coming up.
I would love to believe that we can catapult ourselves back into the league and not struggle in the conference. I want to believe in it. I visualize it. I fantasize us going back. I want to see us in playoffs and then winning. How are you? Good. Do you know where this will bend? Hey, how are you? Hi. He wants me to take the club over. I just told him that I'll rest for a couple of years.
He ought to send the club over with all his money in his mansion. He ought to sell one of his pigs.
Would you like me to do that?
Yeah.
Why?
Because you've got the character, you've got the esteem. Especially when you go on desert islands and get stuck.
The match is a big opportunity for Exeter. Last season, Yuri Geller may have been tempted to offer some last-minute motivation. Now he and his family have to sit in a stand reserved for Woking supporters, well away from City director Julian Tagg and the official party. It turns out to be a frustrating afternoon, and no amount of positive thinking can affect the result. Exeter's young goalkeeper James Bittner has to be in good form to stop Woking scoring more than one.
Super. We are lucky.
The Gellers' visit coincides with one of the team's worst performances of the season.
Yuri, today, bit disappointing. Yeah. It's not a bit, it's always a lot. Dan, how do you feel about the match today?
I feel very low. I mean, it's a defeat. The performance was not good enough.
The journey home promises to be a lot more subdued.
There's always another Saturday. And another one.
Yeah, not in this league, no.
It's
In
just the
this
beginning.
league you have to be good early on, otherwise you miss out. That's a myth that there's always another Saturday. You have to do it today. This hurts you later on in the season.
The Gellers' people carrier wasn't spotted at another Exeter match all season. Meanwhile, club owner Ivor Doble still hasn't decided whether to hand over his shares to the Supporters' Trust.
The Supporters' Trust require an answer to a very simple question, and that is, we've done all this work on the promise that we would receive shares in Exeter City Football Club.
Sure. Are you going to be
Now is that offer going to be upheld, and will we receive the shares in payment for the hard work that we've put in and the day-to-day running that we've done?
Are you confident, Ivor, that the club will survive?
I very much hope so. Having been here many, many years, I don't want to see it fold, do I? The last thing I want. We need to keep it going.
Doble's decision is not an easy one, but within days a deal is struck and the route to survival has become much clearer.
Exeter City Supporters Trust has acquired a controlling interest in Exeter City AFC Limited, and I would like to personally express my immense thanks and gratitude to Mr. Doble for his assistance in making this possible.
With the Supporters Trust now legally in charge, the chances of coming to a voluntary arrangement with creditors is much better. That, though, will mean a possible points deduction in the conference.
They've said from their AGM that anybody who goes into a corporate voluntary arrangement will suffer a 12-point penalty. As yet, no conference club has done. If, as we have said, Exeter will do in the next 2 to 3 weeks, then, if the conference are true to their word, the deduction applies.
With Exeter needing all the points they can get, midfield star Dwayne Lee gets September off to a cracking start. With 11 more goals in 3 away games, City head off to the midweek match at Barnet full of confidence. But there's a late shock, with 17-year-old rookie keeper Martin Rice named in the side just 1 hour before kick-off. His fitness may have been less than impressive in pre-season training, but it's in at the deep end for his league debut. It's a sink or swim night for the youngster, and he rises to the challenge magnificently. He produces 2 world-class saves to give City every chance of returning to Devon with more valuable points. Exeter are in good form at the other end, and Glenn Cronin's goal gives them a 3-0 lead. The travelling fans and manager Eamon Dolan celebrate another victory against the odds. More than 1,000 people have now joined Exeter Supporters Trust, and their donations are keeping the club alive. Meanwhile, creditors have been asked to take just 10% of what they're owed, or risk getting nothing at all if the club closes. The crucial vote is 24 hours away, and it's a nervous wait for solicitor Stephen Allenson.
Oh, hello, Julian. Don't know really. It's touch and go. As you know, we've got to get 75% of creditors voting supporting us. We've had some very good news in that we've had a lot of support from the major creditors, but at the moment there are one or two who are playing their cards very close to the chest, and with 24 hours to go, it's probably too close to call.
As creditors arrive at St James's Park, it's still not clear if the required 75% will vote to enter the voluntary arrangement. Despite weeks of private negotiations, the club's future hangs in the balance. Liquidation is the alternative, with the doors closing for the very last time. The meeting lasts 1 hour, and there's good news to report.
A lot of people have been supporting the club over the last few months. It's been a very difficult time. The directors have had to consider a number of options open to them, and right to the last few days we weren't quite sure which way this proposal was going to go, but with the support of the major creditors we've now got it through. But the real work starts now. The real work in the fundraising, etc., starts from today.
Because you know it gets colder as we go north.
Just 2 days after the latest reprieve, there's an early morning start for Exeter's loyal fans. They're setting off on the 270-mile journey to Accrington in Lancashire.
It's just nice to get a group of us together, get a minibus and have a day away. And you know, it's very often a case of a good day away spoiled by 90 minutes football, unfortunately. But I'm sure that won't be the case today. We're doing all right. If you're doing a journey like this, the longer the better, really. I mean, it just adds to the fun. Early start, you know, get everybody up, get cracking, and we should just aim to get as far as we can, as quickly as we can, and you know, with a bit of luck, we'll have a chance to get to a pub, have a drink, and then off to the game.
Here we go, here we go.
What's the next verse? Same as the first.
After facing ruin just days ago, it's ironic that Exeter's next opponents are best known for their own financial problems and demise in the early 60s.
Oh, it's a different world, isn't it? They speak funny up here. They speak funny up here. They don't have to speak proper English. By the way, I'll give you a prediction. Exeter 3, Accrington Stanley 0.
After the break, there's much more to cheer about for the Exeter fans. Making a point to the football authorities. And staying ahead, what will the future hold on and off the pitch? As Exeter take to the field at Accrington, more than 400 travelling fans are there to cheer them on. For Supporters Club Chairman Dave Bennett, it's games like this that make the long journeys worthwhile.
I think they hung the stand at the old bridge, I think. We are Exeter! We are Exeter! Sean Levi.
Exeter's victory rounds off a fantastic week. After coming so close to financial ruin, victory on the pitch unleashes emotions from players and fans alike.
I was a nervous last few minutes, wasn't I?
It's a massive week for the club. It's nice to give the club a win on the pitch, considering a momentous day on Thursday. People, I'm sure, probably weren't aware how close we were to going into liquidation, and I understand that, because Exeter City is always crime wolf. We're always crime wolf. We've always got problems. It's always, you know, and it's only really the hardcore of decent people that know that something different is happening. You know, and we're moving mountains. We're achieving the impossible, and you know, it's a nice feeling.
Superb. Great travelling fans. I mean, I don't know, 400 probably, maybe more. You know, we sang all the way through it. That's, you know, we gave them the support they needed, and they delivered, didn't they?
It's a victory that strengthens Exeter's bid to win promotion, but off the field their problems are continuing to mount. With the club facing a massive 12-point deduction for the voluntary arrangement with their creditors, the fans are keen to send a clear message to the football authorities. A delegation travels to London to face conference officials at the FA headquarters.
With 12 points going now, we would face the second half of the season where the players will be playing for nothing, or possibly not playing for nothing. The fans wouldn't turn up because the performances wouldn't be so good. It would just be a spiral until we then become a proper part-time non-league club.
Exeter's supporters stay at Soho Square all day as the two sides continue the legal arguments. Then, late in the afternoon, there's some welcome news.
Exeter is obviously very pleased that the status quo is maintained, and as yet no points have been deducted, and the issues will be decided on another day, no doubt early in the new year.
Although the club's main aim is to avoid a points deduction and win promotion, there's plenty to be gained from a long cup run. Exeter have been in good form in the FA Trophy and have every chance of reaching the final itself. Wins over Hereford, Kings Lynn and Arlesey have provided a welcome cash bonus and taken them through to a quarter-final tie at Aldershot. But as supporters arrive at the Rec, the usual pre-match excitement is matched by the feeling that the football world is against them.
I think the FA are out to kill the club. Yeah, right, kill us. Somebody's out to kill us, because everything we do, we just bounce back and then we just get kicked in the teeth again. And it's just got to, you know, at the end of the day, it's got to stop and let Exeter survive, let Exeter get where they should belong, and that's back in the Football League.
Exeter's fans have once again turned out in force, but there's an early blow to their trophy hopes. Quick thinking from Sean Devine gives Exeter an equaliser before half-time. But Aldershot have the best chances in the second half, and Exeter are made to pay for some poor defending. Then with just seconds remaining, a lifeline. Devine hooks the ball across the line. But the goal is inexplicably disallowed for offside. Exeter are stunned, more evidence perhaps that everyone is against them.
The final score, Aldershot 10-2, Exeter City 1.
Shocking refereeing.
It is the old cliche now, we've just got to concentrate on the playoffs, but you know, if we can get 255 points, we probably got a chance of getting in the playoffs, you know, so perhaps they'll deduct us points for it being cold today, because that's the sort of situation that we're in.
The cup exit is a bitter disappointment, but Exeter's league form holds up well. They stay unbeaten throughout March and they're strong playoff contenders. Then, the biggest result of all. While we're recording an interview with director Julian Tagg, solicitor Stephen Allenson rings with news hot off the press.
Sorry, can I...
Yeah, go on. God's roll.
Hello? Hi, Stephen. Hi. Yeah. That's certain that that's going to be the case, that there's no legal implications and there's no points? That's unbelievable. Thank you very much. Thanks. Yeah, okay. Yeah, bye-bye.
Sounds like good news.
Yeah, that is very difficult, because the last part of the conversation is very sensitive. It looks like there's going to be no points against us, and there's not going to be. We were always very worried about financial cost to the club, which we can't. So this looks like that's actually been solved. I don't know the exact detail of that. I'm going to have to go away and find that out.
Congratulations.
Cheers.
It's the answer to all City's prayers, and with the threat of a points deduction taken away, they need all the help they can get in the final match of the season. To reach the playoffs, they need to beat Accrington and hope that one of their nearest rivals slip up.
Father God, we come before you, ask you to bless us today and be with us. Thank you that you give us this time before every match when we can just come together and pray.
Club chaplain Richard Tutor organises a prayer meeting before all home matches, and managing director Ian Huxham, himself a committed Christian, is among supporters taking advantage of spiritual guidance.
I look forward, Lord, to the blessing that you will pour and shed abroad in this place as we honour you, Father. I know that you will honour this football club, and I thank you for it, and I ask you to bless it now in Jesus' name. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Thank you, Jesus.
On a day when anything less than victory just won't be good enough, the stakes couldn't be higher. The bright sunshine helps produce a fantastic big match atmosphere.
Come on!
Roared on by a massive crowd, Exeter's players rise to the challenge magnificently. Exeter's 3 goals put them on course for victory, but the celebrations at St James's Park are muted. With the help of mobile phones and radios, the fans know that scores elsewhere are not going well. Although manager Eamon Dolan is delighted to end the season with a win, there's a strange atmosphere around the ground as the final results are confirmed. It soon becomes clear that Exeter have missed out on reaching the playoffs by an agonising 1 point.
Well done, boys. Did anything we can do, no regrets. Excellent, excellent, excellent. We're getting better, we're going to get stronger. We can control what we can control. On to the next. Remember we said yesterday about kicking the door in? We did. It's just difficult playing out there. We all felt. We kicked it in, didn't we? There's only going to be one winner. All about good decisions.
Well done, mate. Well done, George. Well done, Baz. Well done, Andy.
Well done, son. Much better season, eh? Listen, we have got no disappointment in this run. We would have today if we'd have lost, but we've got no disappointment at all. Remember we talked at Morecambe about pressing on for our careers. Remember we talked about togetherness, and we've done that. So now we've got a base to go on. There's a hunger still. There's going to be exactly the same hunger from us, for you, for next season. So that's what we need to build on.
So ultimate disappointment for players and supporters. But as the City fans leave St James's Park, there's a realisation that they were lucky to see any football at all. The club's financial future is still far from secure, but their prospects are now so much brighter.
There have been a number of ups and downs, a number of battles, and yet every single one is worth it. You know, it's our football club, and we made it. Last year we inherited wreckage. It was wreckage off the pitch, it was wreckage on the pitch. You know, as manager, I inherited a group of dispirited, demotivated, fat, unfit, unprofessional players. And I think we've brought a bit of credibility back to the club, and now our aim is to go and do better next year. Coming 6th in the conference is not the extent of our ambition. You know, if these people can turn out and give us this sort of reaction in a conference playoff game, can you imagine what it's going to be like when we're lifting silverware and winning things? And believe me, we will.
Exeter have survived long enough to celebrate their centenary. It's tough enough to break even on a day-to-day basis, but now the club has to start paying off the creditors too. But in a summer that brought Brazilian magic to this pitch, just about anything's possible.
boards, bikinis and BMXs, Rush is back for a brand new series. Get swept up on an adrenaline wave of extreme sport action and the latest in live music.